What if the refrigerator sitting in your kitchen right now is already obsolete? Not in 10 years, not in some distant sci-fi future. Right now, today, there's a machine that does everything your fridge does, but with no motor, no compressor, no refrigerant gas, and absolutely no sound. It just sits there, silent, powered by magnets. And what if I told you that America's biggest appliance company saw this coming, spent a decade and millions of dollars trying to build it, promised the world it would be on shelves by 2020, and then quietly disappeared? And what if I told you that a team of scientists in Beijing just solved the exact problem that stopped them, the problem that stopped everyone, and published it in a scientific journal while the rest of the world was looking the other way? Because here's the thing, this isn't just a story about a quieter refrigerator. What China really built here could hand them control over an entirely new industry. Before America even realizes the old one is gone, let quote S start with something most people have never thought about. Take a second and look around you. Your refrigerator, your air conditioner, the AC in your car, the unit keeping vaccines cold at your pharmacy, the walk-in freezer at the grocery store. Every single one of those machines, every single one, runs on the exact same idea that was invented in the 1800s. You compress a gas, you let it expand, and that expansion pulls heat out of a space. That's it. That's the whole thing. It's called vapor compression refrigeration. And according to industry research, it has dominated the global cooling market for nearly a century, largely unchanged in principle. Think about that for a second. We went from horses to rockets. We went from telegrams to smartphones. And the machine keeping your food cold today runs on the same core physics as one built in 1850. Now, the reason nobody replaced it isn't because engineers weren't trying, it's because it works. It works incredibly well. The global home appliance market, fridges, freezers, AC units, the whole category, is worth over $500 billion today and growing toward nearly $700 billion by 2030. 570 million major appliances are sold every single year around the world. Refrigerators alone account for nearly a third of that entire market. An industry that size, built on one technology, does not change unless something forces it to. And for 100 years, nothing did. But there's a problem hiding inside every one of those machines that nobody talks about at the dinner table. To make cold air, the compressor runs constantly, wearing down, consuming electricity, and depending on a refrigerant gas sealed inside the system. Some of those refrigerant gases are among the most potent greenhouse gases on the planet. R134 AIs, one of the most common refrigerants in use today, has a global warming potential roughly 1,430 times that of carbon dioxide. Multiply that across every fridge, every AC unit, every freezer on Earth, and you start to understand why scientists have been desperately searching for a different answer for decades. And they thought they found one. Scientists have known since 1881, yes, 1881, that certain materials heat up when you apply a magnetic field to them and cool down when you remove it. It's called the magnetocaloric effect. Apply the field, the material warms. Remove it, the material cools. Do that over and over, fast enough, and you can move heat from one place to another, without a single drop of refrigerant gas, without a compressor, without any of the parts that break down and leak. The physics was proven almost 150 years ago. The idea was right. The execution, that was the problem. In 1976, an American physicist named G.V. Brown built the world's first room temperature magnetic refrigerator prototype. It worked. In a lab, and it stayed in that lab. In 1994, the U.S. Department of Energy gave Ames National Laboratory a $1 million grant to crack this problem. Promising results, still stuck at prototype. Then, in 2013, the DOE partnered with Oak Ridge National Laboratory and General Electric, yes, GE, the company whose name is on refrigerators across America, and handed them another $2.1 million to finally bring this to market. GE's own engineers stood in front of cameras and said, and I'm not making this up, we are on the cusp of the next refrigeration revolution. They promised magnetic fridges on store shelves by 2020. 2020 came. 2021 came. 2022. Nothing. The project went quiet. No announcement, no product, no explanation. Just silence. So what stopped them? Every single design, from Brown's 1976 prototype all the way to GE's multi-million-dollar program, hit the same wall. To carry heat away from the magnetic material, every design used a fluid, usually water, and water is slow. It wastes time and energy every single cycle. The fluid became the bottleneck. It capped how fast the system could run, which capped how much heat it could move, which kept the whole technology stuck just below the threshold where it could actually compete with a standard compressor. America spent 50 years and tens of millions of dollars on this problem. Every major lab, every major appliance company, every DOE-funded research program, all of them ran into the same wall and couldn't get past it. Then they handed the problem, not intentionally, not graciously, but by failing. They handed it to China, somewhere in a laboratory inside the Chinese Academy of Sciences in Beijing. A team of physicists asked a different question. Not, how do we make the fluid work better, but what if there's no fluid at all? The team, led by researchers Yuan Lin, Jing Wang, and Baogan Shen, published their answer in the journal The Innovation in May 2024. And what they built is genuinely elegant. Here's the simplest way to understand it. Take a rubber band, stretch it fast, and hold it against your lip. It feels slightly warm. Let it snap back. It feels cool. You just triggered a tiny thermal effect by changing its shape. Certain metal alloys do something very similar, but instead of a stretch, it's a magnetic field. Apply the field, the material heats up. Remove the field, it cools down. That's been known since 1881. What nobody could do was move that heat somewhere useful, fast enough, efficiently enough, to actually cool a space dot. What the CAS team did was eliminate the middleman entirely. Instead of running water past the magnetic material to carry the heat away, they layered the magnetic material directly against a different solid material, one that conducts heat extremely well, packed so tightly together that heat moves from one to the other with no fluid, no pipes, no pumps, no seals that can corrode or leak. Just solid touching solid. They called it a hybrid magnetic regenerator, and according to the study, this fully solid-state design removed the frequency limit that had trapped every fluid-based system before it. In plain terms, it cycles faster, moves more heat in the same amount of time, has no moving parts, makes no noise, and uses no gas. That is the wall that stopped GE. That is the wall that stopped Oak Ridge. That is the wall that 50 years of American research and millions of dollars in government funding could not knock down. China's team knocked it down and published the blueprint. Now here's where it starts to get uncomfortable for anyone watching from the West. Because this isn't just about refrigerators, and the scale of what's at stake is almost impossible to overstate. The global home appliance market sits at over $500 billion right now. Every dollar of that market is built on vapor compression technology, the exact technology China just demonstrated an alternative to. And here's the part nobody is covering. China doesn't just have the invention. China already dominates the industry that would produce it. Haier, a Chinese company headquartered in Qingdao, is the world's largest home appliance manufacturer. They control an estimated 20 to 23% of global refrigerator volume. And here's the detail that should make every American stop. Haier bought GE appliances in 2016, the same GE whose engineers were promising magnetic fridges by 2020. Their entire appliance division is now owned by a Chinese company. Midea, another Chinese giant, owns the Toshiba appliance brand, owns the Carrier brand in certain markets, generates over $50 billion in annual revenue, and holds 28,000 invention patents. Whirlpool, America's last major appliance manufacturer with real global scale, has been steadily ceding market share for years, exiting Europe, shrinking its footprint, watching Chinese brands take the premium tier from beneath them. China already won the manufacturing war in round one. Now they've invented the next generation of the product itself. That's round two, starting before round one's audience has even left the arena. But here's the part of this story that nobody, not the original video, not the tech blogs, not the mainstream coverage, is actually talking about. And this is the part that changes everything. The magnetic refrigerator runs on gadolinium. Gadolinium is a rare earth element, and China is not just the inventor of this technology. China is the world's largest producer of gadolinium. Let that sit for a second. China controls approximately 70% of global rare earth mining, 90% of rare earth separation and processing, and 94% of rare earth magnet manufacturing. And in April 2025, just last year, China placed gadolinium under official export controls. Companies anywhere in the world that want to receive gadolinium now have to apply for individual licenses from Beijing's Ministry of Commerce. The government reviews each shipment. Approvals take 45 days minimum, and there is no guarantee of approval. This is not a coincidence. This is not some bureaucratic footnote. China invented the technology that runs on gadolinium. China controls the gadolinium. If magnetic refrigeration scales into a global industry, and a $500 billion market gives it every incentive to owe, no Western company can manufacture it without permission from Beijing. This is the exact playbook China ran with EV batteries. Own the chemistry, own the raw material, own the supply chain, then watch the rest of the world scramble to catch up with technology they don't fully control and materials they can't reliably access. The fridge is next dot, and it goes even further than that, because the Chinese Academy of Sciences didn't stop at one paper. A second study, published in the journal PNAS, one of the most prestigious scientific publications on Earth, showed something that makes the kitchen refrigerator look like a warm-up act. The solid-to-solid heat transfer system they built can be aimed, with precision, almost like a heat scalpel, targeting specific points rather than cooling a general space. Think about what that means for a second. Modern electronics, the chip in your phone, the battery pack in your electric vehicle, the servers inside a data center, all generate intense heat in very tight, very specific spots. Cooling those spots efficiently is one of the biggest engineering headaches in the entire technology industry right now. Global data centers consume between 1% and 2% of all electricity on Earth, and a massive portion of that is just cooling. EV battery packs lose performance and lifespan in heat. Precision chips throttle under thermal load. A solid-state cooling system, no refrigerant lines, no risk of leaks, shapeable to fit exactly where the heat is, doesn't just threaten the appliance industry. It threatens the electronics cooling industry, the EV industry, the data center industry. What started as a quieter kitchen fridge is turning into a general-purpose tool for managing heat in almost every high-technology sector on the planet. And China built it first. Now, to be straight with you, because this channel doesn't hype things that aren't real. What the CAS team built is still a laboratory prototype. It is not sitting on a shelf at Best Buy. There is no announced production timeline. Magnetic refrigeration as a category still has engineering hurdles ahead of it. The gadolinium alloys involved cost more than standard refrigerant gases right now. The magnets required are complex. The gap between a published paper and a mass-produced consumer product is real, and it is not small. But here is what I need you to understand about that gap. Every single Chinese technology that now dominates a global industry started as just a lab result. BYD's battery chemistry was a laboratory breakthrough before it became the backbone of the world's best-selling electric vehicles. CATL's supply chain dominance started in a factory that nobody in America took seriously. China's solar manufacturing went from interesting research to 80% of global panel production in less than a decade. The pattern is not subtle. China identifies a breakthrough, scales the manufacturing, controls the supply chain, and by the time the West notices, they're already behind. The Western response to the CAS paper? Silence. Not a single major announcement from GE now hires division. Not from Whirlpool, not from Electrolux, not from the DOE, which had its own program and abandoned it. Haier and Midea, the two companies already manufacturing more refrigerators than anyone else on Earth, are positioned to take this from a Beijing lab to a production line the moment the engineering is ready. The last time that happened in a major technology category, it didn't go well for the American industry that thought it was safe. So here's where we land. The refrigerator in your kitchen runs on the same core idea as a machine built in 1850. America's best engineers promised to change that by 2020 and couldn't. China's scientists in Beijing published the solution in 2024. They own the invention. They own the manufacturing capacity. They own the rare earth material the technology runs on, and they've already placed that material under government export controls. The machine that hums in your kitchen right now might have a very loud countdown clock on it, and almost nobody in America is listening. Which part of this hits the hardest for you? Is it that GE promised this and failed? That Haier, a Chinese company, now owns GE appliances? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. If this video opened your eyes, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications, because what we're covering next makes this look like the beginning of something much bigger. I'll see you in the next one.